Hello? All right, I think that works. Go over here. Hello, everybody. Let's see if I can do this without too much trouble. Is this the right one? Okay. Oh, but I have to share. Share screen. All right. That should pop up over there. Come on, big guy. Come on. Weird. Sometimes now it'll pop up, right? That's so bizarre. All right, but then I can come back. And I thought I had escaped Dramatica forever. It's back. All right. Cool. All right. So I'm just gonna walk through a bunch of stuff. There's so much new stuff that's going on there, or that's going on here with Subtext and Dramatica, and trying to keep up with everything is probably quite difficult. So I just want to do this pretty much every week just to show what's going on so that you know a heads up as to everything that's here, all the different tools that are available, because it's a lot. It's quite a bit. And I know there's a bunch of people that just came over from Dramatica, which may sound weird, but people that have had Dramatica but never switched over to subtext or never upgraded to it or never even tried it out. So now there's a bunch of people, and you may be wondering where some things are. So the idea is to bring over all the stuff that I left out very purposefully of subtext because I didn't want to be seen as copying certain aspects, stuff like the story engine and then the build characters window, stuff like that. But then keep all the goodness that's already in here. And then also this thing here, which is um, will be more apparent over the summer, will make more sense, and we'll probably get more and more cohesion as to what it actually is. If you've been following anything this week, you know MCP is like a big deal, and it will likely replace HTTP or be as used as HTTP. And so we just co-opted the idea of narrative context protocol, which some people are like, well, but the model context protocol is really nothing. It's just a way to show off what the tools are. This is just a really fancy way of saying story form. So if you know what a story form is, that's exactly what this will be, and will be a way so that in the same way that different agents and apps can all talk to each other and go through websites and all that stuff, the idea is that hopefully other creative applications, especially in the narrative space, actually only in the narrative space, would want to reach out to this and be able to leverage it. So that's what going on there. And then yeah, part of what I was going to show you are the story starters. So this is something that I have Muse do, which Muse is our AI bot that we created very many years ago. Um, and so once a night, it grabs a story form from subtext and then just picks random genre and then creates like a story starters, like a way that you could start your story. You could start any one of these stories. You could click on them, and all it does is just give you the 4 through lines. It doesn't do everything. It's just a way of like getting started. Like you might like parts of it, but then want to change things, different aspects that are in there. So, and part of what I'll show today is some of the fine tuning that I've been doing in the background to improve the results, because it's a lot more than just like a wrapper around the OpenAI stuff. But there's some really cool stuff that just came out this morning that I wish I had time to put into. But the idea where we'll be able to have two different contexts going on at once. You'll have your story context, so you can build up your whole story world there. And then also the story form context, which is what is in subtext now. Currently, you can't do both at the same time, but just today they have, yeah, 12 Dancing Princesses sounds amazing. Yes, because I think it's a classic fairy tale where they dance till they die or something, but it turned it into a happy Disney movie. So I thought that was pretty funny. Um, oh, and then another really cool thing too here. Well, just while I'm here, I'm going to be all over the place just because that's the way things are nowadays. But you'll notice maybe more towards, especially towards the very beginning when I started to do this, that a lot of the posters always feature a main character and then always feature the influence character, which, by the way, if you haven't heard, uh, I have given up the well, I haven't given it up because it's really in the back end, it's still obstacle character, but, due to popular demand, the front facing of it will be influence character. So, uh, you'll notice, like, almost all of these have the main character front and center, and then the influence character somehow in the background. Um, and that is because when I go to generate the poster, all I'm doing is looking at the blended of the 4 through lines. Maybe I should open that up and show you what that looks like. So, yeah, let's just go in here. So let's go. I'll just do this. Watch. All right. So you come into here. This is the current platform. And the idea is that we're going to create the master platform where not only will you be able to connect to it through like the API stuff, and there's a couple people who have been doing that, but also MCP style. So what that means is you could be in anything. You could even be in like chat or whatever sort of new thing they invent. And then if you wanted Dramatica knowledge or whatever, you necessarily wouldn't have to open up the actual application because I don't even know if applications are going to exist anymore. But what you'll do is I'll have a way that you can connect to it, and then you can just work in your story in whatever sort of other, maybe there's a better app for writing to actually write it out, but you want to keep track of the story somewhere else, or hopefully you want to keep it in Subtext slash Dramatica, which is just the current name, by the way. Then you'll be able to do that. So you'll be able to grab all the information that you have. And yeah, all the stuff they put out this morning makes all the problems that people had with subtext over the last year, which is like the disconnect between the muse workspace and the develop workspace, and then your context, that all goes away. I just have to finish creating it first, because the way that I built Muse was built on a technology from last year that they are now putting to rest by the end of the year. So I have to upgrade everything, which is a good thing because it's way faster and way better. It just takes a second to bring that over. So, all right. Oh, what I was going to do is this. So let's say you just go into your stories here, and this is just a random thing. And I'm just going to add a random story form. So what this does is it goes out and picks, I think, oh, there's like 650 now that are from the example story forms, um, ones that we've done for over the last like 30 years. So it just went ahead and grabbed that. If you've been away for a while, you'll notice this is called narrative tasks now instead of agents, because now agents mean something different. So now these are not narrative agents, these are tasks that you can run or ask for. So that's the difference there. Let me go over here. All right, so let's see what the random story is here. Bumblebee, which is, I thought it was a decent Transformers movie. It actually had a story. So it just took the story form from Bumblebee, which if you go in here, it did this. So she gives up, the main character gives up their way of doing things, turns out great. And then here's the rest of the story form. It's a very classic, very, story form you've seen a million times. It has this story beats, but obviously there's nothing else in here. So what you can do then is, let's say you just had an idea for a story form and or I'm sorry, for a story, and you really liked, uh, I don't know if you really liked Bumblebee. You can go totally random. Like, let's just do this. Watch. So I come into overviews. So overviews are the overarching thing that happens in a story. So subtext is in Dramatica theory is everything underneath the subtext of it. And then the surface level storytelling, that's where we'll get the overviews. And one of the basic, very basic overviews is the log line. So I will come in here and I will just say, give me three different log lines. And then maybe if somebody can give me a genre, give me three different log lines that are in D. And maybe if somebody gives me a genre, if they don't give it to me in 10 seconds, I will come up with one myself. Rom com. Okay. That are in the romantic comedy genre. All right. Oh, speculative history would have been cool. I'll try that one next. Typically, what I like to do is I actually do this sort of thing in a different environment, just so there's no sort of genre or dramatica type stuff in there. But let's see what we got here. Festival sparks when a string of disastrous blind dates forces a quirky travel writer and a cynical barista to team up to organize a local festival. Their clashing personalities ignite a series of comic misadventures, leading to discover that the best kind of love is found where chaos. All right, that's pretty decent. Theater of Hearts. A reserved university professor and a free spirited art curator are thrown together when they're tasked with a historic community theater as their contrasting visions collide on stage. Oh, I like that one too. Unexpected nuptials. A high strung wedding planner must work with an unorthodox, laid back event coordinator. As they scramble to pull off the perfect wedding, both begin to see that sometimes. All right, I'm going to do, or what? Does anybody have a choice? Let's see. Ooh, I know which one I would pick. Let's see. Two. That's okay. Let there be combat picks two. Okay, so let's do two. All right. Theater of Hearts. Everybody loves Theater of Hearts. All right, that's what we're going to do. Now you'll notice if you were to go into chat and ask for this, you would not get when so and so and so and so. That's because there has been some training in the back end here for like main character, obstacle character relationship story. You'll notice they all have that same sort of thing. I prefer to do it in another environment just for somebody that's coming out of nowhere. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'll just keep it in this area just so you can see how it would generate it out of nothing. So I just put this in here. And I used to have a drop down and all these kind of things. You can write whatever the heck you want. This can be like paragraphs worth, romantic comedy with zombies attached to it. Like you could put anything you wanted to in here. And it's really fun. Like I could do zombie romantic comedy, but I'll keep it pretty normal. Romantic comedy. And so this is essentially what the story starters are doing for subtext in the background. Just any kind of log line, any kind of genre, because a story form is genre agnostic. This doesn't really say what the genre is. There are typical genres. So this is like a typical action adventure type drama where the conflict in the plot is coming from physics domain, and the main characters usually like fish out of water or they're the one, the king, that kind of thing. And then the influence character is somebody with some sort of strongly held attitude. Like this is a typical Western culture. Uh, in fact, it's probably the second most popular one for America because it's all about this. Um, so so what I was gonna say is you can put it in any genre if you want to. Um, there are ways like if you were to ask, if I was to come in here and I was to ask, uh, this whole thing where it switches, this is part of the new setup. This is all automatic, so you don't have to like flip this stuff. But for right now, this one's a little bit smarter. If I was to say, um, what are the typical domains for a coming of age story? It should tell me the right answer. Let's see what it does. Oh, so this is really super slow. This is the old technology, which is so complex, which is why occasionally it would fail. If you ever come to the end of a conversation and it fails, it's such a nightmare and gives you a huge headache. That's all going to be gone very soon. All right. So it should say if the story is more about the internal shifts, introspection, and refining personal identity, which most of them are, you would lean towards using psychology or mind as the primary domain. If the story emphasizes external challenges, conflicts with societal structures, or a physical journey that symbolizes the internal growth, then universe or physics. So, since we know a complete story comprises those four points of view, obviously this pretty much describes the main character, somebody who has external challenges, like they're in the small town, they're the genius or whatever sort of thing, that the reason they stand out, and then their objective story is generally all the dysfunctional people that are around them. So psychology. That would be a so you can go either direction. You can either start with your genre and then go there, or you can go here and then go into genre. What new tech are you referring to? Oh, from OpenAI. Yes. Oh, I just use OpenAI because, especially after today, why would you use anything else? Since this will probably be the last year I buy an iPhone. I would say, the different technology is, so this is built. Muse currently runs on the Assistance API, which I got really excited about because it does a really great job of running the conversation and stuff. You don't have to hand do it. They are closing that down, and I have until January, probably, maybe March of next year, to switch it over to what is now the Responses API, which is phenomenal. It has uh, uh, so much you can do with it, and it's really easy to use, really simple, um, and it's like very agentic, sort of built for that. So, yeah, yeah, just Google it. But wait, don't watch the video until afterwards. Okay. Yeah. So all I know is all I can do is build this with the whole MCP thing, and then whatever is in the works, it'll just slip right in. Okay. So what was I talking about? Okay, genre. Okay, so then this is what so you throw in your log line and you throw in whatever genre you want, and then you can just generate the four through lines. So the log line has main character and influence character, so it'll pretty much pick up on that. But you can, even if it's like, a bear and a raccoon walk through the forest. I mean, even that would pick it up, or a bear walks through the forest. I've trained it to pick up on what the four through lines are, uh, figure out the objective story. What is the most typical objective story for that? The main character's personal baggage. Then it goes through and does another round of figuring out the influence character and their alternative perspective that challenges the main character. Then I go out and do their relationship. Um, and then lastly, blend all those together into the blended through lines, which is essentially your massive log line. So that's all done. So that was doing that while I was talking. So if I go back here into the four through lines, you should see, yeah. So now you'll see this is the visual subtext thing, right? Like the little arc thing. So everything below is all the structure stuff, and everything above is like the surface level storytelling, what most people consider to be a story. So, um, and I have it set up to throw in a cute little tagline. So she planned spontaneity, he scripted routine. Together, their love was bound for dramatic chaos. And then it goes through and blends those four together like you generally would in something that might be in, like if you're scrolling through Netflix or something, this would likely be there. It'd be a lot short. I have another round where I want to go through this and kind of it up into what I would consider to be like the perfect version of this. It's a little wordy, but right now I'm just trying to gather as much data as I can from this. So, and you'll notice it's here twice for each thing. That's because I don't get rid of the one that was there, the empty one that was there before. So I'll just quickly go through here and get rid of the empty ones. So yeah, if you haven't been around for a while, this is something that came in the last 8 months or so with that whole USC thing, which is the perspectives. So the four through lines aren't just these four things that are locked and set in stone. They are perspectives, and you can add different perspectives. So you can hand off the influence character, which a lot of people probably understand, but you can also hand off all of these because they really are just perspectives. And this is a way to track it. So you'll see it took that small log line and it said, what is the plot? A reserved university professor and a free spirited art curator are unexpectedly paired to rescue a historic community theater from decay. As they navigate bureaucratic hurdles, creative differences, and a ticking deadline, they must merge their disparate versions to revive a cherished local landmark. Perfect. That's the objective story plot. Then it invented Professor Simon Reed. Simon clings to the comfort of his established routines, even as the spark in his life dims. Every opportunity to try something new feels both thrilling and destabilizing, both pulling him between the safety of what he knows and the allure of starting fresh. His reluctance to let go of the familiar keeps him circling the same patterns. This makes me extremely happy. If you were to go into chat or something else or your own thing and you said, oh, what are the four through lines? And you can see this if you look at the story starters a couple months ago. These are all referring essentially to the protagonist of the objective story and are always about the past. Like they made a bad choice in the past and they feel guilty about it and they have to get over it. It's like the same exact main character through line over and over again. And so what I did recently, just in the last week, is I worked through. So what happens is when you go through and you do these things, um, they get put in a special place so that I can then fine tune over them and then be able to make them better. So like in other words, I don't take what's there. I look at what's there and I say, oh, is this an actual main character through line? And if it is, it gets a higher score. If it is not, and it's more like the protagonist, then it gets a lower score. I don't personally do that. It just goes through and I have it set up to score it on its own. And I look at it, let's see if this will open. Oh, let's see. Let me try this. If I go here, and I think if I can switch, share this other tab. Oops, no, no, no. Hold on. Stop sharing. Do I share this other one? Okay, and then I think I have to do this, and then I can come back, right? So weird. Okay, so then, yeah, I'm talking about the evaluations that I run. So that's what this is here. And depending on the through line, there's different aspects that I go through and check. So for this main character one, I wanted to make sure is it their personal baggage? Is it just about the past, or if they're guilty, then I score it very low. If it is too much like what they would be in the protagonist, kind of like it's too tied closely to the plot, it gets scored low. If it is various ideas of like length and all kinds of different things for just the main character through line. So then what happens is it gets those scores, and I don't use the actual stuff that's in there. I look at the score and then I change how it generates the information to make it a better story developer. That's essentially what the evaluations are for. so that the next time you go in and you generate, you'll get a better response. So what you're seeing in this section here, which is share screen, embracing the unexpected. There. Time traveling main character. Um, I mean, yeah, you could change that if you want to, but you'll notice this is, oh wait, I gotta do this thing where I click here and then I can click back. It's the weirdest thing. Um, you know, this has nothing to do with this. You can find ways to connect the two of them together. So I change the scores, the benchmarks, so it learns. I don't change the scores. I change essentially the instructions and how things are created and come up with new innovative ways of generating the main character through line to get a higher score. So for the years and years that I would teach people how to do this, I'm essentially doing the same thing, but I'm teaching the AI, the agents that are in the background to be able to do that. So then everybody can use that. And then you can make it that much better. And then it gets a higher, hopefully, it gets a higher and higher score. Sometimes it goes down, and then I got to change it around and fix that kind of stuff up. But I'm particularly happy with this because it has nothing to do with the plot. You could put this. Chris would always say like the main character baggage should be something that they could take with them into any story. So Professor Simon Reed here um, is, somebody who you could take this storytelling of what his personal issues are about the routine, and you can put him in a time travel story. You can put him in a wartime story. You can put him in some completely coming of age thing, and these would still be his issues. They are separate from this, and all it does is in the end it creates a much more elaborate or much more broad ranging story. There's nothing particularly wrong with um making it essentially the protagonist. It just makes it so small and makes the story so like I've seen it a million times. I was just noticing that. So, and that happens across every story point. So, and all of them have different things. Like the influence character could be direct or indirect, the kind of challenge that's coming through. The relationship, this one Ori actually is quite good. Outside the framework of the theater project, the evolving romantic connection between the reserved professor and the vibrant curator becomes a journey of emotional awakening. Their personal growth intertwines with a deep, unexpected bond. I mean, this one's a little easier because it's a romance, but I check for the classic things. If you've been around, he said, she said, it's not just an argument between the two people. It should work like a character. It should be the heart of the story. It's not just so that it's like the growth of that relationship. That's the kind of training that I do on it, not the specifics of the storytelling, because in the end, the storytelling could be anything. It's really the understanding underneath that's the most important. And these concept evaluations are done in the background over all different parts of the story. Yes, it's good. Better than a lot of stories that have gotten produced. Yes, for sure. And hopefully will continue to get better. They're done in the background over all different parts of the story. Yeah. Currently I definitely do these 4 through lines. Currently right now it's story beats. I'm really intent on that because the USC project was essentially for gaming. I mean, it wasn't for gaming, but it had a lot of um gaming type aspects. That's where the play mode for subjects came from. So to make sure that those beats were rich, I did a lot of evaluations on the story beats. So you might find that they're much better than they were a year ago. Events are quite small, transits are quite big. Um, and the last story beat in a quad should have some sort of turning aspect to it where it turns the scene or whatever it is that you're working on. But that's really fun to do because it's like trying to train it all to make it all work. Yes, it's a lot of work. It's really fun to do, and it's fun to see it get better each time. But again, a lot of people don't know that that's even a possibility or that that's even going on behind the scenes. So that's why I wanted to do all this stuff so that people would know. All right. So Cassidy, she's creative impulse and heartfelt expression. Okay. And they're through line. And so then that gets all wrapped up into this. So anything that's above the line here is not used for any generative stuff later on. The AI does not look in here because this is not essential. This is for the author. This is for you sending it off to your writing group or to your agent or whatever sort of thing exists. This is just the surface level understanding of it. So there's really no value in having it beyond um, beyond giving it to your audience. Like this is for the audience. This is for the author here. Um, all right. So force together. Simon clings stubbornly to structure. Cassidy dances irrepressibly beyond it, daring him to embrace the messy, beautiful unknown. So, what title? The titles are horrible. This is something. Cue the chaos. That's not very good. Um, Here is Cue the chaos. Is that horrible? I think that's horrible. I don't think that's good. Oh, what was the? Actually, I think there was one that was already there. I like the title, but not for a rom com. Yeah, I think there was. Uh, wasn't it? Theater of Hearts? Oof. Should we do Theater of Hearts? Yeah, when I generated the 4 through lines, it comes up with a new title. So I will put it back as Theater of Hearts. That's all right. Theater of Hearts, it's okay. So then you can go into here and you can say Theater of Hearts rom-com. Oh, let's generate a movie poster for the Hallmark Channel. And the romantic comedy of the day is called Theater of Hearts. Um, and then what you could do is you just come into here, boop, grab that, put it into here. So I'm essentially showing you what Muse does for story starters. Does this, and then the latest thing I was doing was because I got tired of seeing all the story starters. Like I said, they're all main character. Actually, they're all main character and the obstacle. Everybody has equal um, chainsaw of chaos. Uh, Everybody has equal footing in it. So for this, I would probably say emphasize the relationships with your mind. Make it front and center. Because otherwise it'll give equal billing to everything. And for my audience, for something like this, I would want to turn up the dial on the oh, I like perfectly imperfect. That's better. I'm gonna do that. Sorry everybody, but that's better. Perfectly, perfectly imperfect. All right. Emphasize, make it front and center. Because that was a really cool thing Chris out too. Like you can look at the movie poster and you can see what all 4 through lines are in a good poster, or you can see what is coming through. You can see how good the story is by how good the poster is. Because if they have all 4 through lines, they're usually all represented. Let's do that. All right. Now, the other thing I was excited about today uh, is sometimes it will refuse to make this. And I have a feeling that the new thing that they put out today, it will no longer refuse it. It'll be a lot faster and you can iterate on it in here, which will be great. Because sometimes it'll go through, it'll do all this stuff, and then it'll say, I didn't make it. So let's see if it. and I have to do this weird thing where I put it on another server and then the picture pops up, all this stuff. So it's overly complicated, and that will be a thing of the past here quite soon. Oh, this is so slow. Okay. Oh, cool. It's going to do it. Here's your movie poster concept. So it'll pop up here in a second. Uh, Boom. All right. She planned spontaneity. He persisted to state together. Their love was profound amongst the chaos. Well, it's a lot of words. I like this color. Bright red background. Here's your movie concept for Perfectly Imperfect. I don't mind that. He's reserved, neatly attired academic whose expression hints at a life of routine. Contrasted with Cassie Hayes with a very long arm. Uh, the forefront is an evolution of okay, so yeah, so I think it's supposed to say she planned spontaneity, he scripted routine, together the love was bound for dramatic chaos. So in the new version, I'm sure this could be iterated on and they would fix it. Um, I mean, I could ask for it again. This is a way to download it. But that is oh, interesting. It's still in focus mode. It should be fine. Um, yeah, but then you could take that and use that for whatever. And also, once the images become more stable, then in your stories you'll see all the images of this as opposed to just a blank nothing. Um, but that would be a way to it's like the relationship is there, but it's still just this is very he said, she said, like main character, influence character. So let's try again. Let's generate it again. Um, compact the what would you call that tagline? It's a bit long. And then really show their relationship into parts, not a he said, she said sort of thing. How did I get Kate Hudson into it? Her arm is a little long, yes, just a bit. That's why she's perfectly imperfect. Maybe that's what the story's about. He has to learn to love her even though her arm is so freaking long. Or is it that he has a hand growing out of his chest? I'm not sure. All right, let's see if this is better. Fun. And then if you wanted to, like, you could generate the scenes and play through it. It'd be very funny. But let's see what this comes up with. All right, here's a refined. Is it gonna look different? Love isn't perfect, it's perfectly us. Ha ha ha. All right, that's Hallmark. There we go. Professor Simon. And it's funny, it always puts like the character names. Oh wow. She's very imperfect. What is that paint? She have a broken wrist? I don't know what's going on there. Well, the merging backgrounds. All right. Well, she's a painter. He's perfect. I like that much better. And that actually looks like something that would be on the Hallmark Channel. I think that's his audiobook. All right, much better. He even seems like a teacher. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be paint. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be paint too. I'm so crazy. I have wild paint on me. All right. Anyways, um, so that's just a look at kind of the fine tuning that I hate them both. No, you have to love them. Um, they're a good start. They're just supposed to get you going. All right. Um, it could be tats. Yeah, that would be cooler if the whole arm. Oh, that would be a cool thing. Like you could, if I wanted to, but this is like stuff you could do anywhere. Just make them more tattoos. Not just because I'm still thinking about the holdovers. Ah, but I saw Simon Eaton in Theater of Hearts being played by Paul Giamatti. That's not a hallmark. Yeah, you could probably say recast him. All right, I'll do one more. Generate. All right, let's create. Um, take another pass, but make him more like Paul Giamatti and uh, instead of paint and her arm be covered tattoos. What'll be fun is then to see on the newer system if gets better. I hope there is no pig vomit. See what it comes up with. Okay. Oh boy. Very slow. That's the other thing is I can do background tasks now. That's crazy. All right, here we go. All right. That's great. That's hilarious. Oh well, they seem to be quite in love. Much better. Because they're a halfway decent actor as opposed to this guy. Actually, this one will probably do better on the Hallmark Channel, though. I have a feeling. I don't know. Maybe feels like father and daughter. Oh, I didn't think about that, but yes. Um, that's fun. Okay. Did it age her? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not too bad. So, balding, slightly awkward, and endearingly sincere in his tidy suit. But you'll see the point was to show got caught up with the images, but the point was to show the relationship story through line is front and center so that you know, okay, that's what this whole thing's about. Whereas if you wanted to, I mean, another way is like, all right, that's great. Let's try another one. But this time just focus on the story through line. And that should do something a little bit more about the production. Yes. Um, and that's essentially what I wanted to just talk about was the fine tuning that I did for the main character. What have I done the last week? Fine tuning for the main character. The to show, but I didn't quite get it ready next week because I want it to be really super cool. I put up pictures of what it looks like, pictures, screenshots, with the idea being that actually I could probably show what the screenshot looks like. Yeah. Let's see, is this done yet? Yeah, see, it looks like I wasn't able to generate that image just now. Like it refuses to do it. Super annoying. How about you stop being lazy and do what I pay you to do? All right, see if it tries again. If it says visualizing storytelling, that's a good start. All right. So then what I wanted to show you here is sharing, go here. And then I think I can share screen. Yes. So this is coming back to life. Oh, I gotta do that. I gotta go back here. So this is coming back to life, right? Ta-da! Come on. There you go. Um, because I know a lot of people aren't big fans of Discord. I love it, but I know some people don't. and I know that's driven a lot of people away, or at least people aren't as interested, and they prefer kind of the asynchronous catch up on it. So this is getting a whole upgrade thing that's going on behind the scenes, and I'm going to start like posting, double posting stuff. So what I wanted to say is the thing when if you use currently now and you use subtext focus mode, which is the reasoning models, and it goes off and does its thing and thinks through it, you don't get any kind of feedback. So it looks like it might be broken as it's like thinking through everything. So what I've done is like the same thing that you would find in chat and stuff, which is provide the thought process of what it's going through as it's reasoning through um, the different things. So for instance, here, and I just do this just for testing purposes. You don't necessarily need to do this in the final version. Um, but like I said, it's multi-agentic, so it's not just one muse. There's one that's really good at story forming. There's one that's really good at the theory. There's one that's good for research for you. There's one that's really good at gathering all your story materials. And they all talk to each other. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Um, so I'm just doing this, hey, transfer me to the story forming expert so I can figure out whether or not to put this war movie in pre-conscious or progress, which is like a high level dramatica thing. And currently, if you were to ask subtext focus mode, it will just spin. It's doing the same thing. You're just not getting any feedback. Now you'll get feedback where this is how it thinks through the answer. I'm identifying story structure options for the user, comparing pre-conscious versus progress in the context of their war movie idea. They haven't specified a through line, so I should ask clarifying questions to explain the differences. Pre-conscious focuses on mind concerns, while progress deals with universe concerns. Super cool. I'll suggest they determine the through line, whether it's objective story or main character, and which fits their conflicts the best. So it's super cool because if you take the time to read through this, then you're actually learning even more stuff about how theory works or how Dramatica theory works. And you'll see, like, then based on that kind of thinking in the background, then the response that comes up is like, first, hey, let's talk about the difference between progress and pre-conscious. So here, progress is a source of conflict, how things are unfolding over time in an external situation, the rate, direction, or deterioration of events. So like Platoon, I know the objective story is in progress. Crimson Tide, the objective story is in progress. Did I say progress for Platoon? They're both in progress. Um, are we winning or losing? Is the tide turning quickly enough? Those kind of questions. So did I lose? Hold on. Let me stop sharing 1 second. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Let me reshare. Nope, not that one. This one. Okay. Let me do this and then come back to this. All right. Yeah, and even in this one, I said I might take the spinner out. I like the personality of the little purple spinner because I actually spent quite a long time animating it using my 2 decades worth of Disney animation experience. So it actually has uh, animation principles in it. But now the responses come back so quick, you don't even need it. So I might take it out. Oh, does insulting the AI work? Well, we'll find out here in a second. Don't say this is why AI turns against us. I hope you don't see what I say to Muse and log files. No, I don't see anything. All that stuff's obscured from me. Um, it's all like encrypted stuff, so I can't see any of that stuff. Uh, at least like the only thing I would see would be like the responses from. Well, no, I don't even see that because it like scores it for me. But I do remember in the beginning there were a lot of people who were quite angry. Oh yes, Greeks didn't have one single muse, but several too. Yes, oh for sure. Well, and then I would assume. I mean, I still think Dramatica will be the best set of agents, but I assume there might be others, and then you can get everybody to talk to each other. So for this one, transfer me to the story forming expert, and let's figure out where. Oh, cool. Where a romantic comedy would put the RS through line. Oh, this is great because this will tie in with what we just did. So in the story we just did, the relationship story through line was in psychology. So this was working through as a story form expert. I need to clarify the user's request regarding the romantic comedy through line. Typically, the relationship story centers on the dynamics between romantic leads, often falling under psychological or mind domains. That's actually, see, this would be a place where I would see this and I would actually say, that's actually not right. So then another thing that they came out with last week is that I can start giving the agent a cookie when they answer it right, so that these answers will be even better. It's something called reinforcement fine tuning, which I'm very excited about. But before I can get to that, I have to get the fine tuning right, which is why I'm doing all the other stuff with like the main character and the story beats. So you have to do like one first. Once that's cool, then you can come in here and do this stuff. Because this is what a foundational model thinks a relationship story is. I can tell you, it's almost 100% of the time it's in physics because it's a romantic comedy, and usually that involves physical connections between the main character and the influence character, which usually falls under physics, like literally getting it on. Whereas all the different personalities are in psychology. That's how that usually balances out. So that would be a really fun one to clean up. Um, and that's why the one that we use for Bumblebee is great for like action adventure stuff, but for most romantic comedies, it's all right. It's not horrible, but I want to help, and then the next step. So it'll go through different steps. I want to help the user consider various types of tension in their story. Is it about how the characters relate to each other through misunderstandings, which would fall under psychology, or is it more about the relationship status, like whether they're married, which aligns with the universe? That's true. Perhaps it's about activities they do together, like planning a wedding. This ties into physics, so it's going through the four domains and recontextualizing their relationship. Lastly, it could be about differences in values creating internal conflict fitting into mine. I'll ask them to pick the one that resonates most. That's perfect. The only thing that's probably off is the psychology. Misunderstandings. This should probably say, is it about uh, the character's dependencies or codependencies or their psychological dysfunctions, which would fall under psychology? Then the other three are fine. Some of the nine muses. Captain Kirk biology, Vulcan biology. We do not speak of it. Okay. Um, so yeah, and then it would ask. So then this I'm really super excited about because it also it shows you up front and center all the kind of training that goes on behind the scenes for all of this stuff. And then it's also a great way to learn. So you can expect that in the next version. And because there is so much, so I started building Subtext 8 years ago. It was literally like July 17, where I was like, oh, I'm going to make my own. First, I have to learn how to code. So I started doing that 8 years ago. Um, and so there's a tremendous amount of technical debt, a tremendous amount of like dead ends, stuff that has to be cleaned up as it's pulled over to the new version. But what I want to do is get a minimum version of it with Muse so that people can start using it because it's way better speed. It's way better at dissecting. Like if you have your draft of your screenplay and you upload it, especially today, now I can use the reasoning one to go through all this stuff. Like it's crazy. It's going to be so helpful. So I'll probably have a minimum version of that first. I have to get the memory stuff in there. The only problem is if you've started to use the memory stuff in ChatGPT, it tends to over-index on what's there, so that if I have something in there that's like, oh, when responding to people, kind of be relaxed and laid back, it over-indexes on that so that when I do code, it's like, here's a relaxed, laid back version of your code. And that same thing happens in story where everything will be about one little story piece. So I have to work that out as well. But before all that memory stuff, just having access to this will, like, be really cool. So I will get that out sooner. That's my hope very soon. Have you seen the benefits of using personas to help in responses to prompts when I use? That's totally up to the individual. So I just put that in there so that what Anthony's asking about is are the custom personas, um, to ask uh, if you were to customize it to make it, whatever way you want to. I do know if you're wanting to use uh, elements of subtext dramatica without all the story structure stuff, then turning on that storytelling only thing, super helpful. I used it a lot for other projects if I just need like a quick version of a draft. It's not good at writing, but just to have words that you could look at. That's pretty cool. I obviously I don't use the personas myself because all the fine tuning I do is essentially my version of that on a global scale for everybody. But if you see something that you want changed or you prefer, you know, I try to make music helpful and some people want it to be more challenging, which I understand. So then they would put that in the persona if they wanted to. It's just a way for you to customize it yourself ahead of time. Oh, where is this on the dramatic? Have you seen benefits of using Discord double posting? I am double posting, yes. Yeah, yeah. I'm starting to double post it. I have to clean up this um software here just to be able to do it. But yeah, they'll post this. There'll be a place for like the platform so you can keep up to date on all this stuff. Essentially all the stuff I did in Discord, but that way you don't have the nightmare of Discord. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. So let's go back here. Stop sharing. Let's see if it actually listened to me. Need attention since I threatened it with money. It seems the image generation tool is having trouble processing. Oh, wait, oh, sorry. Such a weird glitch. Come back. Come back. Come on. There you go. It seems the image generation tool is having trouble processing landscape posters with large group scenes. But don't worry, I'm here to give you a through actionable poster concept. All right. Well, it is, it's trying to do objective story, which would be, grand reopening soon, the bundling's charm. If you can, I can try a different format. Oh, maybe because it's trying to do it in a this version as opposed to a 16 by 9. Is that what it is? Yes, I know a lot of people hate Discord. That's great. Let's try this. Oh, how about just give me a 16 by 9 ultra realistic cinematic shot of what you're trying to do above, like an opening image for the show. You can put the title over it. I think maybe trying to put it in a portrait format. Like you can ask it to do either portrait, square, or landscape. You just have to ask for it. Um, so let's see if this does it better. Yeah, I know. Well, that's great. Now I'm going to do best of both worlds. So the people that like the instant communication can use the Discord. The people that just want to use the old style, we're bringing it back. Do, 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 do. All right, so I will do this, and then yeah, the other thing is the discoverability. That's the one thing about Discord is it's so hard to. Not only is it hard to find anything if you're in it, but even if you're not signed up for it, you don't get access to it, or it's hard to find stuff. So now that we're all one big wow, come on, man. Ooh, even if the digital paintbrush is temporarily out of order, you are lazy. Let me try this. Try doing it. Generate a 16 by 9 screenshot film, or let's just see. I'll try one more time. This is the thing that I will be very happy to have gone. Do, do, do. All right. And then, yeah, thank you everybody for joining the live stream. Let's see if this is going to end soon. Yeah, and maybe next week I'll show more of the new platform, and then also generating the story beats. Come on, dude. Let's go back to, ooh, somebody put something on. God, this is not helping me out today. All right. I had issues, but they said they fixed it. Let's see. Dylan, let's go back to the old dramatic UX, but with new A for visual versus text-based. Yes, there will be some of the Dramatica stuff. Definitely the story engine and the build characters. The one thing is, just to go back to the thing that I started out with all this stuff today. The idea that there will even be applications or an app store, I think by next year, um, like I don't even know what it would look like, but I I definitely know the direction everything is headed is more free flowing. So I definitely won't bring back the 1993 uh, version of Dramatica with all the different boxes. I will bring back some boxes, but very definitely um, being able to access all these tools outside of it, but still be able to learn from it. Like the story engine settings for sure is like, that's one that has to be in there because you can instantly see the changes. Right now in subtext, because I didn't want to replicate it, I have I call it the story form builder, but that'll likely change. But where you can come in here and you can move stuff around so that you get a visual representation of the story form. But I know people like to see instantly, well, if I change this here, what does that do to this through line in that classic story form? That'll be there. And definitely the build characters window. I just thought that was such an essential part of Dramatica. I didn't want to like copy that. But that's actually the thing that attracted me to it 30 years ago. So I would be more than happy to bring that to it. I'm taking an LM engineering course on Udemy from a JP Moore. Oh, cool. I'll ask more about the course. Yeah, cool. I'm Jim Swift. Oh, for historical reasons. Threw me off for bad behavior the first time I joined. Yes. That was a version, that would be 2015 version of me. Um, you're more than welcome to come back. Okay, so I think that'll do it for today. I just wanted to go over the main character stuff and just show like how to get started and all the different training that goes on in there. Um, and yeah, just really looking forward to just continuing to do that. There should be some really, really, really cool news. I don't know. It keeps well, yeah. This summer will be really fun. Everything's getting good, so it'll be really fun. Um, Thank you everybody for joining. Oh, always feel free if you have any questions. You can reach out to me through the forum. You can reach out to me at Discord if you can stomach it. Otherwise, I will see you next time, which will probably be every week. I try to do it every week at least once. All right. Take care, everybody, and I will see you next time.